Hi, I'm Chuck Salem, president of Unique Venues. I'm glad you're here with me today to learn about some emerging trends in consumer behavior that directly impact meeting and conference business. A lot has changed since the 80s and the 90s. There's been a real evolution of marketing and sales. And so, if you think back, for those of you who are old enough to remember, back in the 1980s, there was as far as our major outreach modes, we did a lot of posters. Remember, we used to get our clip art out, and we used to get clip art books because we didn't go online to get clip art. Remember, we had clip art manuals, and we would get them, and then we would cut out the picture, and then we would photocopy it, and then we would take that clip art picture, and we would actually put transparent tape around the clip art so that we were able to actually get rid of any black lines to almost make it look like we put it in, that it was part of the paper. It was kind of funny to think back on it, but that's what we did. We made lots of flyers and posters and letters that included clip art. We put a lot of flyers in the mailbox, and so that was how we did outreach in the 1980s. In the 1990s, we moved towards, remember the cool poster makers that came out where you were able to take one of those flyers that you made with the clip art, and then you were able to put it into a poster maker, and when it was in the poster maker, it would make this very large, it would like burn an image onto a large piece of poster paper, and then we would hang those throughout the buildings, and that was a way that we really got the word out to people about what we were doing when it came to marketing. We developed, we got these little Macs, these little desktop publishers and desktop published ads. We put information in about our services and what we could do for people in the campus newspaper and the local newspaper, whatever kinds of mediums that we had to reach out to people in print. We really took advantage of that as well. Well, then the 2000s came along. We all survived Y2K, and in the process of surviving Y2K, we were able to ramp up our marketing efforts and sales efforts just a little bit more. So we were able to we really got into the email age in the late 90s and early 2000s. We started to really send emails. And if you can remember back to the beginning of email marketing or emailing, we didn't get a whole lot of spam. It was a fairly purified system. You know, you got relevant emails, but as time went on, emails started to become more and more filled with spam, and there was more and more pirating of information and selling of information, and now we're getting all kinds of emails, and so that has diluted, in a sense, the impact that email marketing can have on a product as you go to sell. More and more people have become email fatigued, and because of the email fatigue, they're not paying as much attention to email outreach. As we moved through the 2000s, there began to be movement to social media. I remember raising my kids, and let's see, the first thing they did was or I think it was AOL online. And so, you know, my kids came home from school, and they totally lost the art of picking up the phone and calling their friends, but instead I can hear click, 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 click on the keyboard, and that was my kids doing messaging, instant messaging to their friends on AOL. Things progressed, and there was something called MySpace that came out, and Facebook that came out, and at the time when they first appeared, they were really cool, fun, social kinds of places to meet and talk for teenagers more than anything. But through time and through good marketing, Facebook, in particular Facebook, became almost, in my opinion, more of an adult tool for social media than it is a kid's tool. I think that, you know, people of all ages have jumped on the Facebook bandwagon. What's most interesting to me when we look at the evolution of change for marketing and sales is what's really happened since 2008 to the present. and that's that there is a feverish use of social media, and that more than just it being a feverish use, the game seems to change constantly. You know, there's always something new happening. There's new functionality within one of the social media types that we use, or there's a new social media that comes out, or doing something that we did all the time is now considered passe. So the game changes constantly, almost requiring you know someone with a marketing and sales background to always kind of be doing an environmental scan of what the latest and the greatest is in social media marketing. So that's a little bit of introduction. I think it's also important to talk about the fact that we are more than ever having to focus on generational differences. For instance, being a part of Unique Venues, we still offer a print directory. And sometimes I almost, as a salesperson, almost am a little hesitant to say that we provide a print directory, because I think for some potential customers, it may sound archaic that we still do that. While for other customers, it is a source of comfort. For those customers who are in the baby boomer range and the baby boomer age group, they still like that bricks and mortar. That's a sense of comfort, a signpost, so to speak, in a very crowded marketplace. So they like to have that, something they can actually still look at and hold in their hands. But you talk to somebody from Gen Y and you tell them that you're doing a print directory, and they just really don't quite understand why we're doing that, and there must be something really spectacular or unique or different about this print directory to still be doing it. So I think as we move forward, we here at Unique Venues will have to take a look at how we do our outreach to people based upon generational differences. I started to take a look at some of the behaviors of Gen Yers, and because they really drive today's culture, whether we want to believe it or not. When you really watch commercials on TV, when you go to the shopping mall and you're walking around and looking at the market mix that's in there, when you look at music, when you look at satellite radio, when you look at just about everything, the Gen Y really is the foundation or the driving culture behind how people do outreach. So here's a little bit about Gen Y. Gen Yers tend to value the opinions of friends in decision making. One of the reasons they most likely value the opinions of friends in decision making is the ease by which they could reach out to their friends. With all of the social media that this generation is used to using, it makes it very, very easy to ask your best friend, hey, I'm thinking about doing this, what do you think? I'm thinking about buying this, taking a picture, what do you think? So they're able to get almost instant opinions, because Gen Yers are not hesitant at all to stop whatever they're doing to check and see what's on their phone. So they can be in a very important meeting, but you'll see they're picking up their phone, they're looking at their phone. And it's really is a part of the culture. They have a life on demand mentality. So they are so used to a life on demand that they can get it right now, right when they want it, right when they need it. The things that they have to wait for aren't really tolerated or aren't really considered attractive to them. Gen Y is a very competitive generation. 97% of Gen Yers own a computer. 94% own a cell phone. They talk on average to their parents 1.5 times per day. Again, showing the ease of communication with, as in their generation and what they're growing up with. 81% use Facebook every day, which is almost double the amount that watch television or read newspapers. So, when I was younger and I was in college, I couldn't wait to sit down and watch my MTV. I couldn't wait to sit down and watch the television shows that were important to me. And there were a lot of them, it was, gather around the television and that was a social event. These days, it's not really as important that It's more important to sit down in front of your computer screen